The gimbal isn't. There we go. The gimbal wasn't responding to me. All right. Rob here for Southwest Florida Television. Good morning. Happy Thursday. This is part 3 of my Thursday morning beach walk at Del Nor-Wiggins Pass State Park in beautiful North Naples, Florida. 79 degrees right now. The water temperature is so 87, 88 degrees. 8 o'clock. High tide. Tide's just beginning to turn and start going out. I'm down at the very south end of the park, just north of Vanderbilt Beach. A few clouds out in the Gulf. Some clouds to the east and some thin clouds above me. Mr. Sunshine over here. I'm hoping to come out here this evening for a beach walk, keeping my fingers crossed that I can find somebody to go with. Hoping the weather holds out. Thank you for the stars. Morning. The weather's looking pretty good. It's a little, not quite as clear as yesterday, a little cloudy, but we got a little bit of wave action here stirring the bottom up. I think once that sun gets up a little higher and brighter, it's going to look a lot better. Though we might be getting some rain a little earlier than our normal time. That happened yesterday. The rain started early. So if it starts early, I hope it will end early. That'd be nice. The sky is gorgeous. So yesterday afternoon, some lightning hit the Naples Pier. It hit the pavilion down at the end of the pier. Thankfully nobody was there, nobody was injured. But you just never know. You never know. I'm guessing you could, if there's a way to replay that with live cam, you could see it when it happened. I don't know. They didn't show it on the news. They said this is around when it happened and it was pouring down rain. Just to give you an idea how big that cloud is. Look at how tiny that boat looks. And that cloud is way off in the distance. Hey, welcome back there, Roberta. Good morning. I said earlier, I'm just kind of here lost in thought, enjoying the views, thinking about life. As a lot of you know, the other day, well, the 4th of July, I went over to see my niece. Gail and I drove over to Vero Beach to visit with her. She's not doing well. She's got cancer. 59 years old, but yeah, we were reminiscing over there, telling stories when we were kids. My sister's actually my half-sister. But Faith, my sister Faith, she had 5 kids. And the oldest, my oldest niece, she was born 10 days after me. So I was Uncle Robb when I was 10 years old. And all the kids, as my sister started having more babies, I was always Uncle Robb everywhere we went. And my sister and her husband and my mom and dad, they kind of raised me and my older niece like brother and sister. But I was the ringleader because I was the oldest. As we got older and started to do things kids do. Getting in trouble. Good morning. Getting in trouble and whatnot. I was the ringleader. We used to do some silly things. They lived up in New City, New York. I'd go up and spend the summers up there. We'd bounce back and forth. They'd come down here, and I'd go up there. But we had some good times. We were like a little tribe. But one of the silly things we did is, well, being from Miami, my mom we'd go to the beach every single day. In the summertime when school was out, we'd live at the beach. My mom would actually just leave me and my friends at the beach all day long. It was a whole different world. Back then, you had lifeguards. Everybody knew everybody there. But one day when my sister and her husband and all my nieces and nephews were on vacation, my brother-in-law took us all to the beach. And we'd always go out, we'd take our little buckets and catch little crabs and little fish and things, blah, blah, blah. Well, we come back from playing out in the water. He's gone. The car's gone. We're freaking out. All the stuff's at the beach, but he's gone. The car's gone, he's gone. I don't know how old we were. 8, 9, maybe. So I'm like, well, I guess he left us here. We're on our own. Might as well pack up and walk home. So, like my youngest nephew, my God, he must have been 5 years old, 4 years old. I don't know. We were small. He was small, but we all grabbed what we could, including our crabs and fish. Started heading down the road. Unbeknownst to us, my brother-in-law came back. He had just gone to the concession stand to use the facilities and came back and he freaked out. All the stuff was gone. He couldn't find his kids. Didn't have cell phones back in those days. He's frantic driving around. Couldn't find us. The reason is because this beach, they had like a walking path in behind the mangroves that paralleled the road, so you couldn't see the walking path. So they had everybody out searching for us until we came out at the entrance to the park, and they found us. And it was a good, probably a half-hour walk with all our stuff to get out from the beach, get out to the main road. But needless to say, this was the old days, the good old days. We got punished. We got our punishment. But it was just, I mean, we were dropping everything on the ground. We were having a hard time carrying the chairs and coolers and all that stuff. But we forged on, and then we received our punishment. My older niece, she cannot forget that story. We were like a bunch of little explorers. I don't think I was always barefoot, in shorts, without a shirt. I mean, when we were kids, our parents, we stayed outside all day long. We stayed out and played. My mother, the neighbors, our friends' moms, they'd take turns, feeding us lunch. They just put the sandwiches out on the steps, and we'd sit outside and eat, drink out of the hose. Life sure was simple back in those days. Putting playing cards, clamping them on your bike so they'd make that clacking sound in your spokes. You ever do that? You remember doing that? Metal roller skates. I forget what those were, super skates or something. There were some metal skates that slipped over your shoes that came out, were a big hit way back. Then skateboards came out. Oh man. Oh, look at these colors of the water here. Looks nice right in here. This is right up by the skybox. Looks beautiful right here. The good old days. The 5 and dime store, the 5 and 10 cent store, where you could really get stuff for a nickel and a dime. Penny candy. Picking up soda bottles, pop bottles, wherever you're from, you call it soda or pop, to get your candy money. Kites, remember? I remember as a kid, well, me and my friends, kites were a big thing. We used to love flying kites. We'd hook them onto our fishing poles and see how far away we could get them to go. We'd get on our bikes and ride chasing the kites, seeing how far away it was. So many inventions back in my era. So many, I mean, remember when the first calculator came out? The first little so-called pocket calculator. What a marvel that was. And then the Casio, the first digital watch. Cassette tapes. Ugh. First came the 8 tracks with the big clunk every time it would change the channel, change the track. Remember that? Change the track. I think they have 4 tracks on them. Four stereo tracks. That's why I assume they called it an 8-track. Then the cassettes, man, and then CDs came out, and we entered the digital realm. VHS tapes and then DVDs. Whew. Things we just take for granted now. Now we got our cell phones, we got our computers in our hands. Remember the first computer you ever worked on? Can you remember what it was? Yeah, if you were lucky, you had a choice of an amber or a green screen. I wasn't into Macs back then. Now I'm a Mac head. Remember your first car? Do you remember your first car? Most boys do, that's for sure. Most guys remember their first car. My dad made me work for it. He got this, he got this deal on I can't remember what it was. It was an Oldsmobile, I can't remember the model now. It wasn't like a sports car. Just an old Oldsmobile, 4-door Oldsmobile, and it was a fixer-upper. I had to work on the engine, had to work on the body, took it down, got the old, I don't even think it was a $99 paint job back in those days. I think it was less than that. But I got it running. Got it running, got it painted. It did the job. It did the trick. And it was up to me to get whatever I wanted from then on. Good morning. And it's just one of the things I did is as soon as I got a car and my license, I drove up to New York without even telling my parents. Went up to New York and went to my sister's house. Freaked everybody out. I'm like, hey, I'm here. And I grabbed my nephew and brought him down to Florida with me. He's 4 years younger than me. We got stopped by the cops. My nephew's like, he's my uncle. I was only like, 16 years old or something. We were young, I don't know what we were. Maybe a little older. It was crazy. Silly things you do as kids. Everything always sounds like a good idea when you're a kid. Sounds like fun. It was fun. I wouldn't trade those days for anything. Kind of like Roy, you live for the moment. You enjoy the journey, make the best out of it. Did not have a lot of money growing up. My parents, we just kind of squeaked by. Both my parents were very faithful, good Christian people. And they always provided for me. God always provided for them. We always managed to get by. Something to be said about that these days. I've been watching. I've been standing there yapping. There's been some snooks swimming by, but they just swim out away from me when they get near me. And they come back in closer once they get around my shadow. The water looks great here. Man. Looks like it might be just calming down a tiny bit here. I mean, these are small waves, but it's a little more than we had out here yesterday. Yeah, I'm talking about all the inventions back in the old days. Remember your first pocket radio, your first portable AM radio? What a big deal that was. AM radio. Then the introduction of FM radio. If you're lucky, you might have had 4 channels on your TV. gonna turn around, start heading back down the beach. It's been kind of a quiet morning here on Facebook. Quiet, quiet. Good morning. If the weather permits and I can maybe get a lift out here, I'll come for a sunset walk or evening walk, one or the other. One or the other. These clouds are getting further and further away, those big ones. Moving further out into the Gulf. Some little turns up here on the beach. I don't know if you can see him there. The sun's blasting right into my eyes here. I don't want to scare him away. A couple seagulls. There's the tern chirping. The royal tern. I think there's 3 terns there and the rest are gulls. Four terns. 5 terns. Peeping. Peeping away. Morning. That sky is gorgeous up there.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Hi.
Welcome back. There's our friend Margaret and her sister. I always forget her sister's name. I think Nancy. Margaret and Nancy. Well, I think I'm going to call it a morning. Whoever sent those 200 stars, thank you. I appreciate that. Remember, if you like what you see, Facebook stars, tips, always appreciated. If you enjoy our time together in the morning, our walks. You can find a link to my PayPal account in the description of this post if you'd like to send a little thank you. Hopefully things will work out and I can be out here this evening. Hopefully for a beautiful, beautiful sunset. But if not, I should be out here tomorrow morning again. Regular time. All right, my friends, until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay strong. Tally-ho, everyone, tally-ho. For Southwest Florida Television, I'm Robb Stan. God bless.